Hello everybody, welcome back to Quilty Conscience, the channel that has podcasts and other stuff, except we don't have podcasts right now. But given that we will be talking about quilts and stuff in the future, I decided why not make something that's kind of on theme with fiber art. So I'm going to be showing you all of my crocheting supplies, slash mostly just the yarn, because I have a lot of yarn and I want to show you guys the stuff that I have made with it as a beginner crocheter. I started crocheting in, I think, July of this year. So yeah. I feel like I made pretty decent progress since then, so I don't know if I should still call myself a beginner crocheter, maybe more intermediate, although there's still a lot that I am learning even now, so I will show you guys what I got. Everything that I have is kind of scattered, so it's not in any particular order. So we'll start with this bag here. Big, large bag. Okay, the first one is this I Love Yarn, kind of light yellow color. The color is Lemon Ice. It's a medium weight, fully acrylic yarn, and it's attached to this, which I think was a frog that I was working on at some point, but I got confused by the pattern, so I stopped working on it. I'm actually making a different frog right now, so I'll actually show you that after this, but yeah, this is where I was using it. So the frog that I've been working on recently, the pattern that I've been using has like UK crocheting terms, which confused me a lot at first, but I kind of have figured it out. This is what it looks like so far. It doesn't look like much. This is a lightweight yarn. I think it's a size 2, if that makes sense for the US things. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a pretty thin yarn, so it's a smaller little piece here. It doesn't really look like a frog yet. Eventually it will, hopefully, if all goes well. But this is the yarn that I'm using. I got it from Hobby. Or Hobie. I don't know how you say the name of that website. I got it from Hobie. It's it's called like avocado or something. Yeah, that one doesn't have the label on it anymore, but I'm also using this one for the frog. It's also from Hobie. It's the same line. I think it's just this one. The color is baby cotton, so it's like a off-white type of color. Next up, we have this. It's not really a skein anymore. It's just kind of a pile of white, kind of off-white yarn, which is cool. I've used it to make a couple of things. It's like a chenille yarn. I'm realizing that a lot of these like yarn terms I've never said out loud. I've only ever read them, so I don't know if I'm saying them right, but that's what this is, a chenille off-white yarn. Very cool. If I can find something that I've made with that, I'll go ahead and show you that a little bit later. This is a yarn ball that you can tell has pink yarn wrapped around like a gray yarn, and I have no idea when I did that. I thought this was just pink yarn. I made this yarn ball when I was like in elementary school. So I've actually used up a lot of the pink, so now you can see the gray part. So maybe eventually, once I do something with the rest of the pink yarn, I'll figure out something to do with the gray yarn that's under here. So yeah, I didn't even know I had a gray yarn at any point, but apparently I did, so. This is really old, like, probably 10 years old, a 10-year-old yarn ball that I've just kind of had. I gave it to my dog a long time ago, and he played with it. But, yeah, nobody's been playing with it anymore, because he's dead. Next up we have this bright yellow yarn. I straight up cannot remember what I was going to do with this. Oh, never mind. I made a duck. I'll include a picture here because the duck's actually in my car. It's a little duck that I have hanging from my rearview mirror. And my mom actually asked me to make another one for her, so I'll be doing that. We have this kind of chenille yarn. I don't like... It's a very like softer kind of, I think it's like made for babies or something. Baby crocheters. It's made for baby hands to crochet with. Oh, okay, this is actually stuck to some strawberry crochet things that I made. Doesn't look great. I can't quite show off how it looks. To be fair, this was like my first attempt at doing this, so it doesn't look extremely great, but they're strawberries. So I have used this green yarn for a couple projects. I also used it on this strawberry horn on this cow that I made. It only has one horn. I made this a long time ago. It needs the other horn. So that's something to work on. I didn't know how to sew on heads for amigurumi little animals that I made, so I would just guess, and so this one has a pretty floppy head. But if you don't, if you don't do that, I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. It was one of my first projects, actually, so looks good for that. That's what I used the green for. There's also this blue one that's the same weight and texture for baby crocheters. And I don't like these compared to my other chenille yarn because it's not consistent. I thought it was like a regular chenille yarn, but it's actually a little bit thinner. So when I used this to make a project with a regular chenille yarn, the texture throughout the project was different, and I didn't like that. Here's what it was. I abandoned this a really long time ago because it just did not work out the right way. It's also very cone-shaped, so I gave up on that. It kind of looks like a marshmallow stuffed. Next, we have another regular chenille yarn. It's like a really dusty, light pink. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a light pink colored yarn. I honestly don't know what I did with this, but I clearly did something because there's not much left here. Oh, this cow is pink. Yes, that's what I used it for. I used it to make the body of the cow. Cool. I really appreciate consistent chenille yarns, and not that one. Okay, I might as well go ahead and show you this. I also have this fuzzy yarn from Loops and Threads. I saw on Instagram someone that made fuzzy cow plushies and stuff, and I wanted to try that. They said that using the fuzzy yarn was kind of hard, and as a beginner I was like, bet, so I used it, and it was hard, but it was hard. I can tell you that because I have a whip here that I never finished because I messed it up really bad. You can't tell because it all just looks fuzzy, but I did mess it up, and I have a little thing there to hold my place. So this was a failed attempt at a fuzzy cow. I did end up making another fuzzy cow for my aunt when she was in town, and she took that home. I'll put a picture here again, because obviously I don't have it with me. My aunt took it back to her house. But I didn't use the black fuzzy yarn for that. I think I only used this for that whip that I gave up on. I did use this pink yarn. It was a pink and like kind of mauve color. So I have more of the same pink yarn, fuzzy yarn. So maybe I can make a pink and black cow. I actually kind of like that idea. I like pink and black together. Here's the mauve fuzzy yarn that I used for the cow for my aunt. Kind of looks brown, but personally, I don't think I would make that cow with that color scheme again. Maybe it's just because I got tired of looking at it, but I kind of want more contrasting colors the next time. I also have this really dark green yarn that I bought at Walmart from Red Heart. This was for the frog that I was talking about at the beginning that I was working on, and you could see that I had used this for the first part of it. So yeah, I pretty much have only used it for that and to practice some knitting. Some knitting. So I have a singular knitting needle in this bag that has a little whip of knitting stitches. The other knitting needle is across my room right now. But yeah, so pretty good yarn, to be honest. It's pretty sturdy and I haven't had any issues with it. And that goes for all of them. I can't say that I've really had issues with any of them. Obviously, well, the baby chenille I did not appreciate, because if you're making a project that you want to have like the same consistent texture overall, you're just gonna have to use the same baby chenilles throughout the whole thing and not regular ones. So I will say with the Hobby yarn, I've had to deal with a little bit of splitting of the yarn, but it hasn't really been too bad. It hasn't really impacted the work that I've been doing at all, so I can't complain. It's pretty good, and I like the colors. I think that's all for this bag here, so I'll move on to this bag. So in here, we actually have the first thing that I ever crocheted, and I followed a tutorial to make a T-Rex, and this is what it looks like. I didn't have any stuffing at the time, so I stuffed it with yarn scraps. It's cute. It's cute. I could probably do it better now that I actually know what I'm doing, but I really just jumped into crocheting without knowing how to do it. I just was like, I'm gonna do it now, and I kind of learned as I went. I made a lot of mistakes. It took me a really long time. But this is my little first T-Rex cutie. And this is my first attempt at a cow. It really wasn't that much later. I gave up on this one. But it's kind of cute. It has little strawberry horns. I didn't have that much yarn to work with, but that's what I did. This was actually the first crochet thing that I did when I first was like, I'm gonna crochet. I made this and I got bored so fast, so that's when I decided to make the T-Rex. And thank you to whoever made that video. It was very helpful for me. Alright, that was actually all that was in this bag, so next up, this is this is just a stuffing bag, but I have yarn in it. The first thing that I want to show you is this bunny that I made for my sister. I'm still really bad at sewing on heads, clearly, but I made this bunny for my sister's birthday. And you might be wondering, why do you have this if it's for your sister? Because I haven't made her clothes yet, and I felt bad about it. So I'm gonna finish making her clothes. Here is the yarn, the chenille yarn that my sister picked out to make the clothes for the bunny. It's sparkly. Oops, it's sparkly. And you can get a sneak peek at the clothes that I've been working on. They're overalls, because I'm following a pattern with bunnies and overalls. So this is just the legs. That's all I've got so far. But it shouldn't really take me too long to finish that up. Yeah, the bunny is made with chenille yarn. If you guys are interested at all, I'll put any of the patterns that I've used in the description or in the comment section. If you're interested in looking at the ones that I've made so far, or the patterns that I've used. And I used this white chenille yarn to make the bunny. And yeah, like I said, I like working with chenille yarn a lot. It's pretty easy to work with since it's so thick. And I think it's pretty beginner friendly. Compared to like thinner yarns, I know I started out with thinner yarns, but working with chenille yarns, for me, you can see the stitches a lot clearer, which I appreciate. Time to move on to this box. I have a lot. Okay, so my first crochet project, and the reason that I even wanted to start crocheting, was because I saw a post on some social media of crocheted possums, and I was like, I need to do that. And you'll be so surprised to find out that I was working on this crocheted possum, and I did not finish it. It still needs eyes and a nose and legs, and I was a little intimidated by that when I first started out, because this was like one of the first things that I made. But honestly, I should revisit that, because I probably can actually do it now with relative ease. But I should probably finish this, and if I do, I'll show it off on the podcast eventually. So here's my little possum, and I bought several yarns for this, because like I said, I didn't have really any yarns to begin with when I first started crocheting. And that's what's in this box. Here's the gray yarn that I bought to make the body. It also called for some pipe cleaners for like the tail and stuff. I never got around to it, but I did open the pipe cleaners for other stuff. I also bought a white yarn and a black yarn and a pink yarn, which are here. Here's the black yarn. They were all the same brand, so they're all about the same consistency and texture. I unfortunately ripped off all of the labels for these yarns, so I don't know the brand. But, yeah, here's a possum ear, I think, that I have attached to this. Even though the possum already has both of its ears, I don't really know what that's for. I also have this purple yarn. I don't think I used it for anything. I bought it in a skein and then I rolled it up into a ball but I don't think I've used it for anything yet. So we'll see if I do something with that. Here's, I think this was just a, like a practice thing. It's just a kind of black and white ball. I don't know what that's for, but I also have another bag of stuff here. This was actually the second crochet thing that I did. I revisited the dinosaur, but I made it with chenille yarn, which was a little bit easier for me. The only problem that I had was that it was a multicolored chenille yarn, so I kind of was like, I don't know. It confused me just a little bit for a minute there. But yeah, it's not stuffed at all. I gave this to my dog to play with, and she liked it for a little bit. But it was just to practice some more before I got into something that I really wanted to do. I also just bought a bunch of like smaller skeins of yarn. This one is ivory colored. It's a little off-white from Yarn Bee. Look, I know, guys. Look, I know. Look, I know. I bought this a while ago. And also that's the closest craft store to my house. So, anyway, it's this ivory one. I don't think I've used this one yet. I bought a lighter kind of tan brown and a darker brown because I was making a capybara, or a capybara. Oh, it kind of looks like a capybara. I got really into making like keychains for my backpack, but before school started, I only managed to get one, which actually I'll show you a picture of that here. It's a mouse that I made. It's really cute. It has a piece of cheese. The pattern also has like a pattern for a piece of watermelon instead if you want to do that, which is really cute. I love that, but I chose to go with the cheese instead. This purple one and this green one are all the same, like 100% cotton brand. I actually don't know what the brand name is. I also have this blue one. I got several colors kind of at the same time. Oh, here we go. It's Crafter's Secret Cotton. Have a red one. And these have all worked pretty well for me. I will say that this brand, or it might just be what it's made of, like the 100% cotton like material. It unravels a little bit while you're working with it, but it hasn't been too much of a problem. This was something that I made. It's just a couple granny squares that I stitched together on one side for some reason. It worked pretty well. This is, like I said, something that I made with these specific, cotton yarns from the Crafter's Secret brand. And I have this just plain white yarn, like medium size. Or not medium size, but like medium weight. I'll move on to my final box here. Just has a couple things in it. This was the pink yarn that I bought for the possum's nose, which I clearly have not gotten around to, and I think its feet are also supposed to be pink. This is another just white fuzzy yarn that I was using to make the cow. This was the blue chenille yarn that I used to make the dinosaur practice thing. I don't think I've made anything with it since because, honestly, not a huge fan of the color scheme. I don't know what I would use it for because I generally make animals and stuff, like amigurumi, so I don't know what I would use this for. Maybe if I did like a different project, like a blanket or something that might use like a multicolored chenille yarn, then it would come more in handy than the other things that I have. I also have this kind of reddish, pinkish red chenille yarn that I used to make the ears and all the like kind of redder parts of this cow. This might be my last bag. I don't know what I have in here. Oh, these are just my like sorry about that. These are just my like holder things. I unfortunately forgot what they're called at the moment. My little pins to hold my spot in the work that I'm doing. And I have several of these eyes for my amigurumi animals. And just this orange all cotton Crafter's Secret yarn that I used to make a shrimp, which I'll put here. I made that for Kate's birthday. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for coming along and looking at the extreme amount of yarn that I have. I should probably stop buying yarn and just kind of do something with what I have right now, because I have a lot. Thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you want. There are more videos to come. Some of them will be about fiber art. Some of them will be about, I don't know. I want to make a video about how much I love Hosier and Unreal on Earth, because I love that album. And also a video about a movie that I watched recently, the Glee concert movie. It was insane. So I will be talking about that in the future, and stick around for future podcasts that we will make. Those are coming down the pipe. We will be recording those soon. We have plans for them. So thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you later.